While playing video games, there are different ways of telling stories, introducing characters, and explaining the world. One of my favorite ways is when a character is written and presented in a way that their actions, more than their words, explain the world where the events are happening. This is especially cool when it is done by characters that, while important, are not inherently associated with the main story or main events in the game. One of my favorite examples of this is Cornifer in Hollow Knight. For those who never played the game, Cornifer is a character that sells maps for each area, most of the times when you find him in each of those areas. But so, why is Cornifer so interesting and relevant to our understanding of the world of Hollow Knight? Because he tells us a lot without using words, even though Cornifer is one of the most present and communicative characters in Hollow Knight. We stumble upon him in almost all areas of the game, usually at least once. If we don't find him, we will at least find a letter he left behind. But when we do find him, he usually greets us, tells us how he just got a new map, may share some thoughts about events or the place where we meet, but he's usually just humming like nothing is happening. The only exception is Deep Nest. In Deep Nest, Cornifer is hiding and visibly scared, but more on that in a second. But what makes him so interesting and relevant to our understanding of the world? Well, it's interesting and intriguing how Cornifer is everywhere we, as the knight, go. Places in which we struggle. Places that we got to after a hard sequence of enemies or platforming. It is implied then that Cornifer is not just this chill and relaxed fella. He either knows how to fight, is a master of stealth, or just has some weird ability. And that allows him to safely interact or avoid the dangerous bugs that try to get the knight killed. At a certain point, you encounter Cornifer and he suggests you should go back to his and Iselda's shop in Dirtmouth. And this is because he doesn't want Iselda, his wife, to be worried. But worried about what? Well, I guess about all these dangers. The specific thought seems to reinforce his idea that, while Cornifer seems to be pretty comfortable navigating the world, he recognizes dangers to be wary of. So, Cornifer is more than he seems, and this makes him interesting because, to me, this is all very interpretative. We don't really know much, we just know that he got there. And he's great because he makes us wonder what's up, who he is, how he accomplishes certain things. He makes us question, basically. But you know what? Cornifer is even more interesting if we totally assume he's not a fighter, which is probably likely. Why? Well, I did say that in Deep Nest, Cornifer is visibly scared and hiding. In his own words, I've tried to chart the dense nest beneath here, but it's proving too dangerous for a bug like me. Vicious little creatures burst out all over the place and the passages are a dark, twisting maze. Even with my good head for direction, I've had enough. So it seems that Cornifer isn't, as expected, a great fighter. If he was, why would he be so scared of Deep Nest's creatures? In fact, he ends up by revealing that what he has is good orientation. So the reason why he's everywhere we are seems to be due to him being capable of exploring more efficiently than we are. Cornifer is, after all, the source of all our maps, so he's obviously very competent at studying and documenting his journeys and the areas he finds himself into. So Cornifer is just a very, very good explorer. And this is the main reason why Cornifer is a great character, because he tells us something about the world we are in. If he's not a fighter and just has to explore further, it is implied that the whole kingdom and its surrounding areas are bigger and more complex than we are capable of understanding. Without specific dialogue, Cornifer allows us to understand that Hollow Nest is a huge and complex maze with multiple routes and passages. We do find plenty, and yet there seems to be many more. And Cornifer tells us this without a single line of dialogue about it. So to sum it up, Cornifer is a great character because he gets us to think about the world and its design without using words. The mere presence of Cornifer in almost all areas of the game gives us, indirectly, information about the world. This world is more vast than what we experience. And then again, this is said without specific dialogue. You just have enough information to connect the dots and make this interpretation. But funny enough, the way the progression in the game is structured, it's likely that you only find out about Cornifer's fears and, arguably, lack of fighting skills after a long time playing it. And so, for a long period of time, you may have been thinking that yeah, maybe Cornifer is a good fighter after all. And well, maybe it is, and Deep Nest is just scary because it's darker. But I think we can agree that he's probably more of a great explorer than a fighter. Either way, Cornifer is a very important element in regard to world building, giving us hints about the world while being a secondary character that, I'd argue, isn't even essential for the main story of the game. The mere presence of Cornifer is intriguing and informative at the same time. Great character, and a great mechanic way of giving us this idea that Hollow Nest and its surrounding areas are much bigger than we experienced. What about you? Is there a character or specific storytelling mechanic that you really like? Do share, please. Thank you for watching.